Maureen got second place for once. Unbelievable. Gotta get my headsets on now. Oh, wow. Something's wrong with the audio. Hold on. Whoa. Sorry about that. Wonder if I should just start over again. That was some pretty crazy audio. Could you guys hear that on your end? In my headset, it was just absolutely crazy sounding. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, I guess this is pretty live, early for a live that I'm doing. I played golf earlier this morning. For any fathers that happen to be on here, happy Father's Day. I played golf. Started off pretty good. I was 1 under after 9 holes, and then kind of had some bad holes. But ended up shooting a 78, which, you know, overall isn't too bad. Then I watched the US Open, and that was pretty good. Good stuff. But then I was also checking on the Beaver Countian website again, and they had a timeline that I was finally able to view. It seems like they make things hidden sometimes where you can't actually see what the hell you're... They mention an article, and then they want you to pay for viewing it. I don't really know many news websites that do that anymore, but they apparently do. But occasionally they make them viewable, and so I was able to get all the notes put together and then save it. But there's a link to Beaver Countian in the description. All right, so for all of us that are absolutely confused and mind-boggled by the Rachael Deltondo case, maybe if we go over this, we can understand it a little better. Alright, so I'm going to get started on this. Or should I wait a couple minutes and let other people show up? Wow, look at that. Patricia H. here. That's amazing. Thanks for showing up, D. All right. Lauren. Chronically Sherry. Jan. Daro. Lania. I think I said that right. Probably not. Lania. Megan. Windsor. Hello, Patricia. And Southwest Berry. Whatever, her Sweet Berry 32, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I should play the Furious Freaks music as we wait for more people. That way you can really put those dancing people up there. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Yes, we are all freaks on this channel. Yay! Yeah, it's good to see you here, Patricia. it's louder. Definitely louder now. And it's quiet now. And then... What's that phrase Vic always says? Boom! Yeah, music intensifies. Alright, here we go. I'm going to start fading it out now. Alright, okay. Well, I give a couple extra minutes for people to show up here. Now I got to switch back over to a maybe this one. All right. So I found a clear timeline on the Beaver Countian, which I guess means people of Beaver County, and they have a website, and it goes over the Rachael Deltondo case, so maybe we can look at that and use my images that I have at the same time of the case. Let me get the right folder open. So we have this chart right here. Let me switch it back over to a full view so you can see it better. So this is the org chart, and then I made a new one today of the mayor, Don Couch, the police chief who was placed on suspension or was suspended, then the assistant police chief, Joseph Percival, or I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but he was arrested the day after he was made the assistant police chief. And then a day after that, Robert Seelock was made the active police chief. And then here's a district attorney that's also involved in some of the discussion. Okay, so I am now going to just start reading, and then we'll stop here and there to go over specific things. Yes, and hit that like and share and subscribe button. And all, yada, 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 all the cliches. I guess that works. It kind of sucks that us YouTubers have to say that all the time. But I guess that's just how it is. So I am going to start reading now. It says this is a timeline of events leading up to and since the May 13th murder of Rachael Elena Deltondo, 33, of Aliquippa, as well as ongoing possibly related Aliquippa City and police corruption investigations. In 2008, Deltondo's friends tell the Beaver Countian that she worked for a year as a permanent second and third grade substitute teacher in the Aliquippa School District. Deltondo's mother, Lisa, says it was there she first encountered Sheldon Jeter Jr., then an elementary student. She never had him as her own student. That was another lie, she said. He was one of a group of boys there whose teacher used to say, "If you're good today, you can go down the hall to see Miss D after class." They thought she was beautiful because she was. Okay, but see, isn't that kind of gross too? That you're a little kid and then the other teacher says, "Hey, go down to see her," A little strange. An incident involving Jeter Jr. many years later would become part of a story told by news outlets around the world. All right, now in 2010 to 2017, that's the next sort of breakdown. It says, Deltondo's short life began unraveling as her relationship with Frank Katropa, and that's this guy right here. All right. Frank Katropa, 36, fell apart, her mother believes. Katropa says later during press interview, the two had a relationship for about 8 years in total. Deltondo's friends say it had been an on-again, off-again relationship. The couple was engaged during a trip to Paris in June 2015. Wedding plans informally came to an end in October 2015. The engagement formally ended. So the wedding plans came to an end in October 2015, and the engagement formally ended on Valentine's Day 2016. So that's, February 14th, right? Then when Deltondo returned her ring to Katropa, so she gave her ring back to him. The two remained friendly and continued speaking into October 2017. All right, but then we go back to, this is actually February 6th, 2016. So 8 days prior to her giving Katropa his ring back, I believe. Let me just make sure I'm doing that. Yeah, so Valentine's Day 2016. So on February 6th, 2016, 8 days prior to her giving Katropa the ring back, Aliquippa Police Sergeant Kenneth Watkins and Officer Frank Conkle. So Kenneth Watkins right here and Francis Conkle find Deltondo right here with Jeter Jr., this guy right here, the guy that was mentioned as being a student at the school she worked at a long time ago in 2008. But on February 6, 2016, Officer Watkins and Conkle find Deltondo with Jeter, 17 at the time, at 1:52 a.m., sitting in a steamed-up parked car in the area of Old Aliquippa Hospital. Police, you can see that in other videos I've made. I show that location. Police allege Deltondo told them the teen was her former student who was upset and had called her because he needed to talk. So that was a lie right there. Police say she tells them she doesn't want her fiancé Katropa to know where she was because he would get angry. So this guy right here, she didn't want him to know. But what's funny is when the police were talking to her, she made sure they knew what his name was. It's like they didn't. It was weird. His name is Frank, she said, and then they said, "Well, we know a lot of Franks," and she says, "Well, Frank Katropa." Like, wow. I mean, why are you giving up that information? She doesn't want her fiancé Katropa to know where she was because he would get angry. Police filed no incident report and no charges. So the police didn't file any report because they both kind of told a similar story, and they had no evidence that they were engaging in any sort of sexual activity. So the police did not file a report. All right, you guys all following along? I think this makes it a little bit clear. As a matter of fact, I liked having, let's just keep the org chart up there. I won't put the text that I'm reading. A report created about the incident, which occurred more than a year earlier. So this is in May 2017, so a year and 2 months later, a report is created about the incident, which occurred more than a year earlier. Police Chief Donald Couch, so let's get that picture up so we can all just follow along. And this guy right here, Don Couch. So Police Chief Donald Couch later tells the media it was done, in case someone got wind of it. Well, they must have known somebody had some wind of it, because why would you even be thinking about that a year later? And how did they even know that it happened? And another thing that was interesting is that one of these two officers, we don't know which one, Watkins or Francis, they were going to take in Sheldon prior to this incident because Sheldon's mother wasn't a very good mother. And they were going to try to help him out in life, I guess. Let's see. Okay, someone got wind of it. Footers. Okay, that's something different there. Oh yeah, it just says footers on all the information indicate the reports were printed out on May 2nd, 2017. So the report was created and then printed out on May 2nd, 2017 at 3:11 a.m. That's a little strange, don't you think? Like, who's up that late going, oh, God, dang, I better, at 3:11 a.m. in the morning, 14 months after the event, you're up printing out sheets of paper. That just seems really pretty bizarre. You guys with me here? Pretty crazy. All right, I just had a drink of Gatorade. So if you hear that, the lip smacking that I get complaints about, I apologize. I guess I'll just have to turn my head. Okay. Let's see. And then, okay, so that was in April and May of 2017. On October 26, 2017, an anonymous email containing the incident report, so this one that they created 14 months later, an anonymous email containing the incident report and alleging a police cover-up goes out to a number of people, including Deltondo's employee, the Pennsylvania Cyber Charter, which was the Pennsylvania Cyber Charter School in Midland. Say that really quick. Pennsylvania Cyber Charter School. County and state agencies, media outlets, including the Beaver County and her friends. So whoever this was really vindictive. They wanted everybody to know that Rachel was with Jeter 14 months prior, but actually, let's see, more like 20 months prior to when this email was sent out. The email, however, includes sensitive personal information from state and federal databases available only to law enforcement. Okay, so that's a breach of information right there. Let's see. And strictly forbidden to be released to unauthorized individuals. So whoever sent this anonymous letter in had information that was unauthorized, which kind of makes you believe that is it possible this person was in law enforcement themselves, okay? And now that you see that there's so much going on with law enforcement in this case, you kind of, if you put two and two together, you almost think that law enforcement got this information and sent out the email, but sent it from a anonymous source, like, so you could just create, Joe's email at yahoo.com, just some random, and then just send it in. Among the information are social security numbers, birth dates, signature images, telephone numbers, and home addresses. Couch later claims to the press, so that same guy that we were looking at a minute ago, Couch right here. Couch later claims to the press that confidential information about Deltondo had been handed out in error. Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that you don't even know who the anonymous source is. So for you to say that is just making something up. Along with the incident report to a member of the public when requested. So let's see what he said again. Among the information are social security numbers, birth dates, signature images, telephone numbers, and home addresses. Couch later claims to the press that confidential information about Deltondo had been handed out in error, along with the incident report to a member of the public when requested. See, I think that's a cover-up right there. I mean, I generally don't believe in that stuff, but it makes sense right here. Because it was inside information sent anonymously. Now you're saying it was just sent out in error to somebody in the public who you don't know. Well, how would they have gotten that? Do you have proof that it was sent out? Maybe they have proof that it was sent out. Okay, so it's possible it's not a cover-up. But that's my opinion right now. Couch refuses to name... Oh, there we go. Couch refuses to name the person. Aliquippa police reiterate that an investigation of the incident involving Deltondo and Jeter Jr. revealed no wrongdoing and no charges were filed. Interesting. Okay, now October 27th, 2017, a day after that anonymous email, a second anonymous email is sent to the Beaver Countian alleging, so this news outlet that I got this timeline from, alleging the reason this report was not filed in February 2016, so the night that Rachael was found with Jeter, the reason the report was not filed in February 2016 with Aliquippa School District, Children and Youth Services, and mandated report to the Department of Education was because it was an attempted cover-up. Okay, so let me read that last sentence again. The reason this report was not filed in February 2016 with the Aliquippa School District, Children and Youth Services, and mandated report to the Department of Education was because it was an attempted cover-up. That's what this... so perhaps there was a whistleblower type in the Aliquippa Police Department who sent this out. But if you were a whistleblower, why would you then send out the personal, private information that shouldn't be sent out? I don't know. That's a little confusing. All right, so on November 6, 2017, about 10 days later, Deltondo was placed on administrative suspension with pay from her job pending an investigation. So this person who sent out this anonymous information to her work, it had an effect. She actually was put on administrative suspension with pay from her job pending an investigation by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. I don't know what the outcome of that investigation ever was. PA Cyber Charter School says Jeter Jr. was not a former student there. Okay, so this guy here was not a student at that school. And now we're going to move on to December 8th through the 12th, 2017. So just about a little over a month later, the Beaver Countian publishes an extensive investigative report revealing the leak of the sensitive... See, what's interesting about this story is all of this stuff was being reported on already. Okay, so keep that in mind. Like, all this stuff that we're reading about was in the news and being investigated. And Beaver Countian actually had this information. The Beaver Countian publishes extensive investigative report revealing the leak of the Sensitive Justice Network files by Aliquippa Police Department. Investigative report, let's see. In reaction to that report, the Pennsylvania State Police Beaver Barracks in Brighton Township opens a criminal investigation into the leak by Aliquippa Police. Beaver County Emergency Services Director Eric Brewer confirms to Beaver Countian that his agency is cooperating with the criminal investigation. Pennsylvania State Police opened criminal investigation into Aliquippa Police Department. Parallel Justice Network administrative investigation is launched by state police out of Harris. Let's see, it's off the screen over here. Out of Harrisburg. This is crazy. So the Beaver Countian had already heard about this leak prior. So this is December of 2017. And then starting in December 2017, listen to this part here. This is interesting. Deltondo begins speaking with the Beaver Countian as a confidential source. So she was already talking to this news outlet. So think how weird it is for them. Like, they're in communication with her, and then she ends up being gunned down, months later. Deltondo begins speaking with the Beaver Countian as a confidential source. She says she is cooperating with state police and the organized crime section of the state attorney general's office. So that's this guy right here. Well, he's a district attorney, but he works under that. Let's see. According to, crime section of the state attorney general's office. She also tells the Beaver Countian that she had begun receiving a series of death threats. So Rachael was actually telling the Beaver Countian in December that she'd been getting a series of death threats, and she fears for her life. According to a later affidavit filed by police as part of the search warrant for Jeter Jr.'s home, it is also alleged that in December 2017 that Deltondo began a serious relationship with Rashawn Bolton, 31, Jeter Jr.'s half-brother. This guy right here. So this is Jeter Jr., this is his half-brother, and she was dating him, and his name is Rashawn Bolton. Alright, so February 2018, state police in Harrisburg conclude their administrative investigation into the Aliquippa Police Department. The department is given administrative sanctions, including a probationary period. The criminal investigation into the Aliquippa Police remains open. And this is in February. And on February 8th, 2018, the Beaver Countian learns from multiple confidential sources that Aliquippa Mayor Dewan Walker, okay, so let's go over to that. This guy right here, Dewan Walker, is refusing to speak with state police as part of its investigation of the city of Aliquippa. Wow. So the mayor is refusing to speak to state police about the investigation. Aliquippa Mayor Dewan Walker refusing to cooperate with state police investigators. And then February 12th through the 16th, 2018, the Pennsylvania statewide investigation grand jury hears testimony about alleged corruption in Beaver County, according to multiple confidential sources. Statewide grand jury convening next week on alleged corruption in Beaver County. Okay, that was a headline that I just read there. That had nothing to do with that. It wasn't a new piece of information. That last sentence. Okay, now on March 2nd, 2018, the state police execute a search warrant at Aliquippa City Hall and seize documents and computers. So keep in mind, like, Deltondo's still alive at this point, and she's part of the, sort of inside information, and let's see what it said. Yeah, that the Beaver Countian is actually working with Rachael. So it says Deltondo begins speaking with the Beaver Countian as a confidential source. That was back in December 2017. So on March 2nd, 2018, the state police execute a search warrant at Aliquippa City Hall and seize documents and computers, including those from Walker. So they actually took computers and documents from the mayor's office and city administrator Samuel Gill. 6 of the 8 pages of the search warrant are sealed and part of a grand jury investigation, according to then State Police Lieutenant Eric Hermick. State police executing warrant at Aliquippa City Building. That's another. So I copied the text, so sometimes the text below a photo shows up in here. And I gotta delete that stuff. It's easier for me to read off of here. All right. So May 13th, 2018, Deltondo. So this is what I just said before was March 2nd. On May 13th, 2018, Deltondo is shot multiple times and killed in her parents' Aliquippa driveway at 10:45 p.m. And that's right here. So we'll do a street view here. She was lived with her parents. So it was right here in this driveway she was shot and killed, right here. Oh, that's interesting. That's 2013, but there's actually people here standing there. I don't know if those are, I don't know when they moved there, but yeah, look how close Rashawn lived at one point to the parents' house. Like literally just walk down the street and you're right at the house. Hold on a second, I get a drink of water. Alright, so that was May 13th. Deltondo was shot multiple times and killed in her parents' Aliquippa driveway at 10:45 p.m. Police say she'd been out for ice cream, which was actually frozen custard, just prior to the shooting with the minor daughter of Police Sergeant Watkins and Tyree Jeter, 26, Jeter Jr.'s brother. Okay, so you see how crazy this case is? So here's Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle. They're the ones that found Rachael and Sheldon in the car in February 2016. But on this night, when she got shot, she was out with Lauren Watkins, the daughter of that very same sergeant who found them in the car together. So Rachel's out with Lauren and the brother of Sheldon, Tyree Jeter. Right there. So if you're not thinking this is the craziest damn case you've ever heard in your life, then you're nuts. Okay? Because to me, it's insane. Absolutely insane. And back to the timeline. Alright, so on May 14th, so that was May 13th when she was shot. On May 14th, Aliquippa police execute a search warrant for Jeter Jr.'s cell phone. This guy right here. Call records and geolocation data. The Beaver Countian publishes a report revealing that Deltondo had been interviewed by state law enforcement and was a confidential journalistic source for the Beaver Countian. So she was never a confidential informant for the police or anything like that. All right, I think we kind of like conflated those two things. She was a confidential journalistic source for the Beaver Countian. Journalistic source for the Beaver Countian. All right. And then on May 14th to May 15th, Aliquippa Police Captain Robert Seelock. Oh, so that's this guy. That's interesting. Right here, this guy right here, Captain Robert Seelock, who is now the acting police chief. Robert Seelock sends a letter to Couch, to this guy right here, alleging that Watkins acted unprofessionally. Okay, so listen to this part. And could have contaminated the Deltondo crime scene. Seelock writes that Watkins was off duty and didn't listen to other officers telling him to stay out. Couch puts Watkins on paid administrative leave to preserve the integrity of the case. Okay. So right here, this guy right here, Robert Seelock, writes a letter to the police chief saying that Kenneth Watkins right here may have contaminated the crime scene. So isn't that a little strange? Like, why was he contaminating that? You know, the same person who found Sheldon Jeter in the car with Rachel, whose daughter was out with Rachel, and Lauren actually had dropped Rachel off just before she got shot, and then shows up minutes later with her father, Kenneth Watkins. Pretty crazy. Yet again. Couch puts Watkins on paid administrative leave to preserve the integrity of the case because of his daughter's association with it. So they put him on administrative leave. He may have contaminated the crime scene, and also because Lauren was the last known person, as well as Tyree, to be with Rachel just before she was killed. Aliquippa police chief seeks administrative leave for officer following Deltondo. That's another headline right there. All right. So May 16th, 2018, Deltondo's former fiance, this guy right here, Catrope, meets with members of the press, including the Beaver Countian. The businessman, once nicknamed the Wolf of Aliquippa, tells reporters, "When you're with somebody for 8 years, that's quite some time. You just hope to see that they at least get justice. It's a sad, sad case," his attorney, Stefan Colafella, adds. "We wanted to be very, very clear publicly that Frank Catropa has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with what happened." See, I don't think he does either. I don't think he could, you know, like everybody, but the thing is it doesn't seem to fit in with some of this other stuff we're talking about. It's possible, though. All right, May 17th, 2018. Aliquippa police execute another search warrant at Jeter Jr.'s home and remove bags of evidence. So again, at Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s home, they remove bags of evidence. The search warrant alleges that Deltondo was in a relationship with Jeter Jr.'s, with Jeter Jr.'s brother. Let's see, Tyler, with Jeter Jr.'s brother. Oh yeah, so Jeter Jr.'s brother is Rashawn. Yeah. Bolton for the last 6 months. So she had been dating Rashawn Bolton for 6 months. Now, let's see. So it says for the last 6 months. The attorney of Jeter Jr., now 20, he was 17 at the time they were found in the car, tells the media that Deltondo and his client also had an on-again, off-again romantic relationship. Santacola says Jeter Jr. had nothing to do with Deltondo's murder. So it sounds like Rachel was having an on-again, off-again relationship with Sheldon while in a serious relationship with Rashawn Bolton, the half-brother. Wow. This is just a total mess. Although, you know, this brings more light to it, I feel like. I feel like you can theorize a little bit more with this information. All right, May 21st, 2018. Okay, excuse me, May 18th, 2018, which happens to be the day Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980, May 18th. Deltondo's mother, Lisa, speaks out for the first time since her daughter's murder in an exclusive interview with the Beaver Countian. She looked very angry in the coffin. An emotional Lisa says, "Sorry if you just heard my stomach, but the drink I just had made my stomach go, ugh." It wasn't a burp, though, okay, I swear to God. She always had a big, white, toothy smile on her face in life. So to see her look that angry was very hard. Very hard. May 21st, 2018, state police indirectly confirmed to the Beaver Countian that an investigation into possible Aliquippa police corruption remains ongoing, contradicting Beaver County District Attorney David Lozier's previous statement to other media outlets. So apparently this guy right here said that they're not being investigated. And that's David Lozier. City police execute a search warrant for okay, so this is some more interesting stuff right here. So let's go back to this image. City police execute a search warrant for Facebook data from Stephanie Watkins, the wife of Kenneth, daughter, this Lauren Watkins right here, and Jeter Jr. So let me read that. The media learned, let's read that again. City executed a search warrant for Facebook data of Stephanie Watkins, the wife of Police Sergeant Watkins and mother of the girl who was with. So isn't that strange that they wanted to get her Facebook information? That's just such a weird direction for the warrants to go, in my opinion. So let me read that again. City police execute a search warrant for Facebook data from Stephanie Watkins, the wife of Sergeant Watkins and mother of the girl, that's this girl right here, Lauren Watkins, who was with Deltondo shortly before her death. The media learns that police executed additional warrants for Stephanie Watkins' daughter. So the police also put out a warrant for on her information for Stephanie Watkins' daughter, Jeter Jr. and Rachael Deltondo, including the search of Facebook private messages, wall posting, friend listings, future and past events, video listings, status updates, shares, and other information for days before and after the murder. That's interesting. See, one theory that I've had is, what if Rachael was doing some things with Kenneth here on the side, and then the mother finds out about it, and then maybe I mean, it's kind of a stretch. So if Sheldon was the one that was staying with Watkins at one time, maybe he was angry too, and they took her out. I don't know. That's a wild speculation there. It could be that Sheldon here was jealous because he actually threatened Rachael one time that he would kill her. But it was just the fact that Rashawn was there was the reason he didn't do it, he said. So imagine being a guy at that age, being sort of infatuated with somebody, and then your half-brother takes her from you. That's how he's thinking in his mind. Yeah, that's the thing, chasing truth. It's pretty crazy out there. So much wild. I mean, they're looking at her Facebook, Lauren, Sheldon. I bet they've even looked at this guy. They're trying to figure out their communications, because there is something going on here. This is one of those cases that has a conspiracy feel to it. All right, so when people say, "Oh, Gray, you're so anti-conspiracy," no, I'm not. I just need some evidence of it. I don't just jump into conspiracy. This whole thing has led to a conspiracy. The facts led to a conspiracy. All right, and I think there is one in this case. All right, so May 23rd, 2018, a judge orders further search warrants issued in the case will be sealed. See, that's what sucks. This one investigator came by and said, "Hey, why are you guys not having these sealed?" And everything since then has been sealed, which is probably the right thing to do, but it sucks for us to not be able to see that. Deltondo's mother, Lisa, says that Jeter Jr. was obsessed with her daughter. So Rachel's mother says that Sheldon was obsessed with her daughter. And wanted to marry her. Before her death, Deltondo also told the Beaver Countian she had no intimate relationship with Jeter Jr. I don't believe that at all. Okay, I don't. Jeter Jr.'s attorney, Santa Cola, claims that they had a sexual relationship and calls her a frequent flyer. I mean, that's pretty rude right there. Wow, look at that, chasing truth. Thank you. But the See, I think Rachel, of course she would say that, right? Let's say she's talking to a reporter. You think she's going to admit to having a sexual relationship with a then 17-year-old person? So of course she's not going to admit it. I think she did. I think that's what she was doing in that car. It's pretty obvious. The car's steamed up. It's 1-something in the morning. You know, you're in a parking lot that you're not expecting anybody to pull up on, and by God, the police show up, Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle. And they didn't write up a report. They hid it and then wrote the report again 14 months later because somebody knew that something was going to come out about it. Really strange stuff. If you just kind of joined in here, make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning, because this is not normal. Okay, May 28, 2018, Lisa Deltondo calls for an outside agency to investigate her daughter's murder. So Rachel's mother said, hey, we got to have somebody outside, which turns out to be like she actually was saying what was going to happen in the future. I can't remember what the term was. She predicted it, basically. On May 29, 2018, the Beaver Countian revealed that multiple subpoenas were served for the state grand jury investigating corruption in Beaver County and specifically in Aliquippa. This is a pretty, I got to tell you, like Beaver Countian, as far as journalism goes, is way better than anything like CNN or any of these guys. These guys get into every single tiny detail. They have 1 million stories on this, but you have to pay to get these sort of offshoot stories. It's really pretty incredible. On June 2nd, 2018, Deltondo's mother, Lisa, says she's told by county detectives that it may be months before an arrest occurs in her daughter's death. Well, how would you even be able to predict something like that? Hey, Chasing Truth, are you keep giving me money over and over again, or is that just stays on your name every time you type? But wait, what's she saying? Oh. Well, thank you, though. All right. Ah, well, wow, look at that. Thank you. All right, I'm getting back to this. Deltondo's mother, Lisa, says she's told by the county detectives that it will be months before an arrest occurs in her daughter's death. On June 6, 2018, Aliquippa, it's hard to say that every single time, right? Aliquippa Council unanimously votes to put Police Chief Couch on paid administrative leave. So let's go back to that image. This guy right here is now on administrative leave. So he's out of the picture. Councilman Matthew Mott says he has been cooperating with state investigators and says he has a first-hand knowledge that Couch is a subject in a state police investigation. Assistant Police Chief Joseph Percival is named acting chief and says he plans to recuse the city department from Deltondo's murder. So This guy took over right here, Percival. However, do you guys remember earlier when I said that there was a search warrant on Lauren Watkins' cell phone? Well, on that cell phone was a pornographic text message sent to Kenneth Watkins, Lauren Watkins, and Stephanie Watkins by this guy right here, which was a girl that was half naked from the waist down, sitting on a swing and peeing into the air. And by God, it was so funny to this guy that he sent it out, and it went to Lauren's phone too. So during the investigation into her phone, it turns out that they arrested this acting police chief, like literally the next day after he was put into that position. They arrested him. Then the following day, they named that Robert Seelock guy, the captain. Now he's the acting police chief. You see what a cluster F this whole thing is? Unbelievable. I mean, I've actually never seen anything like this. This is something. I mean, you need like an abacus and a computer just to figure out what the hell's going on here. Well, actually, a computer would probably be a lot more efficient than an abacus. You know what I'm talking about? All right, so Aliquippa Police Chief placed on, I'm going to go to the next one now. On June 8, 2018, acting Aliquippa Police Chief Percival is arrested and charged by Beaver County detectives on charges of felony distribution of sexually explicit material to a minor, felony unlawful contact with a minor for sending obscene material, and misdemeanor corruption of minors. Percival is accused of sending a sexually explicit text message to a minor who, sources say, is the 17-year-old daughter of Aliquippa Sergeant Watkins. This is just... The smartphone the messages were allegedly found on was confiscated from Watkins' daughter, see, this is where they got this from, as part of the Deltondo murder investigation. Percival leaves on vacation with when this happens. Okay, so here's the thing: is he claims that he sent the text message. It was accidental because it was a group message, and I actually think that's possible. All right, because he sent it to the police sergeant and the wife, but the reason that it probably isn't that way is because later he said, "Oh, I thought she was 22," and he kept making up excuses. He didn't say, "Oh, crap, I didn't mean to send it to you." And then later on he said, "Oh, I was going to send that to all the people in my department." And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You were going to send that pornographic video to everybody in your department? What planet are you on? I mean, anywhere I work right now, if you sent that out, you might as well, in the same email, put your resignation letter in there. He's just a nut job, you know. Probably thought it was funny. You can just tell by when in the interviews, he's not very bright chasing truth. He's just a one of those good old boys, you know, just thinks he's funnier than shit, and he's just not. All right, so on June 12th, 2018... Okay, excuse me, let me go back. June 9th, 2018, Aliquippa Council names Captain Robert Seelock its second acting chief of police. Now, look at this right here. You see this right here? This is the mayor, and there he is. You know, at the swearing-in ceremony, basically. And what's odd about that is, remember earlier, is whoa! Can you hear that? Wow. That's thunder and lightning just outside. Hold on, I gotta go check this out. Dang, man. Could you guys hear that in the... I bet you could. Let me go look. That was... that was some loud stuff right there. Well, if my computer crashes, you know why, all right? So where the hell was I? Oh, yeah. So this is the mayor right here. And he refused to cooperate with the state police in the investigation of the department. And now here he is, you know, continually. You know that he is this guy's boss, Don Couch. Then he promotes this guy, but who's immediately fired. So why did you promote him? You already knew this was on that text message. Why did you put him into that position, then fire him the next day? I don't get that part. Why didn't they go straight from Don to this guy? Maybe they had to do the... What they should have done was, right before Don Couch was suspended, they should have fired this guy, promoted this guy, right there, or, you know, after they arrested this guy, went straight to promoting this guy as the acting police chief. It made no sense to, let's promote this guy, and then a day later you fire the guy. Yeah, but why would you want to do it makes your department look bad. I don't really get that part. There's so much stuff that just... All right. So on June 12th, 2018, it's revealed that Aliquippa Police and Beaver County detectives, at the direction of District Attorney Lozier, searched the Beaver County... Okay, so this guy right here, under his direction, searched the Beaver County jail cell of a guy named Wayne Cordes, who was waiting trial on unrelated charges. Cordes had previously told a Beaver Countyan that he received a letter a few days after Deltondo's death that allegedly contained details of how she died. County detectives also raided the office of Cordes, defense attorney Gerald Benyo Jr., and he was placed under a gag order regarding the Deltondo's case. Both raids were conducted with sealed search warrants. On June 13, 2018, acting Aliquippa Police Chief Robert Selak recused the department from the Deltondo murder. So finally, this guy right here, Robert Selak, took the Aliquippa police out of the investigation of Deltondo, and now the state police is going to handle it. Acting Police Chief Selak removing Aliquippa from Deltondo homicide investigation. Cordes defense attorney files a motion asking for sanctions against District Attorney Lozier. So the attorney of this Cordes guy is now trying to sue the district attorney because they raided the cell and supposedly got this letter, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just... All right. Then there was another article out today in the Beaver Countyan that talks about a discrepancy regarding that letter. So for those of you who didn't know about the letter, all right, so there was a girl, I don't have her name right in front of me. She worked apparently at Circle K, and then a friend of Cordes, who's also being investigated in the Deltondo case, this friend person, witnessed, apparently, Deltondo being shot and her hitting the ground and everything, and he gave this girl that worked at Circle K, a letter that was handwritten in red ink, and it was delivered to the jail, and that letter was inside of another letter with dark ink. So I don't know how jails do it. Do they hold it up to the light to make sure that there's dark ink, and then they send it, and then they forward it on to the inmate? Because maybe the letter with red ink was hidden inside the letter with dark ink. I don't know. Maybe they even open them up. I have no clue how they do that. But apparently this person got the letter in jail, and then what he did was he ripped the letter in half, gave one to his cellmate, and then he kept one, or maybe gave it to his attorney. So that's why the district attorney did raids on the jail cell and the district and his attorney's office. Okay, you see, this is right out of a damn movie. Yeah. I don't know, Kiernath, but you got to admit, have you ever heard of it? I followed a lot of cases, right? And in this short amount of time, I've never seen something so convoluted and just absolutely, complex in just such a short amount of time. It's absolutely crazy. So this is an update on that letter. This is from yesterday in the Beaver Countian. All right. The letter reads in part, I heard the gunshots and seen her fall. I don't want to be part of this. They won't send me to jail is what he meant, if I tell them what really happened. So I bet you that's Sheldon. Okay? I think Sheldon wrote this letter. So what if he was there to confront and just happened to be there at a time when somebody else took her out for another issue? Who knows? The Beaver Countian interviewed Kaylee Hill of Rochester, so this is the girl that worked at the Circle K, who said she was given the letter directly from the person whose signature appears on the note. Hill mailed it to her ex-boyfriend, and that's the guy that was in jail, the Cordes guy, Wayne Cordes of Hopewell Township, just days after the murder. Hill said the letter writer is a friend of Cordes. Right now, I remember looking at this. Cordes is, I think he was 21 or 22, and think about this, Sheldon's 20, and Hill is like 21, so they're all right in that same age group. So that's why I think that the person who gave this letter to the girl at Circle K to Cordes was Sheldon. That's my opinion. That's not facts. That's just what I've come up with looking into this case. And let's see. She wrote, I was at working. That's terrible English. I was at working at Circle K. So let's just say I was working at Circle K, Hill said in the initial interview. The friend came inside and gave me folded up paper and asked me if I could send it to Wayne. And that's the guy that's in jail. Wayne used to go and take me around, knew that I was his baby mama, knew he was writing me because he doesn't have anyone else to write. All right, yeah, so Cordes is the father of Hill's child, right? Hill said she later placed the friend's note in an envelope along with a letter she wrote and mailed them together to Cordes at the jail. She said the two have corresponded about the letter since she sent it to him, with Cordes explaining to her what it was all about and telling her not to worry. The letter has been the focus of at least 2 sealed search warrants executed by Beaver County detectives and Aliquippa police, including the search of Cordes' cell phone and a raid on the law offices of his defense attorney, Gerald Benyo Jr. At the request of District Attorney David Lozier, Benyo and Cordes are both under gag orders by County President Judge Richard, it says President, but I wonder if that means presiding. Let's just say presiding Judge Richard Mancini, not to discuss the matter. I don't know if I've never heard of a president judge, but the Beaver Countian contacted Circle K at Aliquippa in an attempt to confirm some of Hill's account of events. A woman who identified herself as the store's assistant manager verified Hill had been employed there with a hire date in February 2017, which is, let's see, so what, February 2017? Isn't that that's a year after the incident in the vehicle. After reviewing the store schedules, the woman said the last day Hill worked for the company was April 14th. So now this sounds dicey, right? Because Rachel was shot on May 13th. So if her last day of work was April 14th, how could she have been working when the friend showed up with the letter explaining what happened. That's a month earlier. All right. The Beaver County again contacted Hill to ask about the discrepancy. And then Hill said, I was up there dropping something off then. So she says, I was up there dropping something off then, she insisted. Wayne's friend handed it to me then. She abruptly ended the call. So there you have it. Well, there's where we're at. Wacky stuff, huh? So now I'm back to looking at the chat. What have I missed in here? Yeah, I think that we got everything that we need to know so far, right? It gives us more stuff to speculate. You know, you have facts, and then you can speculate on those facts. Well, chasing the truth, you got to go back and watch my other videos on the case, including this one from the beginning. Yes, it's confusing, but I can do it in a recap now because I've got it in my head. All right, so here we go. I might not have the exact dates, but I'm just going to tell you what's going on here. All right, Rachael Deltondo right here. And Sheldon Jeter on February, I think, 6th, 2016, were found in a car by Officer Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle. Rachael and Sheldon explained their way out of it, and Kenneth did not, and Francis did not file a police report on the matter, but they were found in a steamed-up car at 1-something in the morning in a secret, like a private rundown parking lot somewhere. All right. And at the time, Rachael was still engaged with Frank here, but 8 days later, she gave back Frank the ring on Valentine's Day. How lovely, huh? And let's see. So Kenneth Watkins here. Apparently, either Francis or Kenneth was going to take Sheldon in prior to that incident. They were going to take him in as a to help him out in life, you know, because his mom right here apparently wasn't doing very well. All right, so that was back then. And then recently, you know, the last 6 months, Rachael had been dating Rashawn Bolton in a serious relationship, who's the half-brother of Sheldon right here. Sheldon apparently and Rachael have an on-again, off-again relationship. And in December, Rachael was doing some undercover work for the Beaver Countian. So I'm trying to figure out what she might have known. Like, how would she know anything for them to get information about? Was it her friendship with Kenneth Watkins here, perhaps? Because listen, Rachael was friends with Lauren Watkins, so obviously there's a connection here. What are the odds of that? What are the odds that Kenneth Watkins and Francis pull over Sheldon and Rachael, and now Rachel's friends with the daughter of the same officer? It's not just some random coincidence right here. And she's only 17, Lauren. So again, she's hanging out with another underage person. So the night she was killed, Lauren right here, Rachael and Tyree Jeter's older brother, so Tyree, this guy, Sheldon's older brother, they were out, and during that time, Sheldon was actually texting, you know, saying, hey, I guess I wasn't invited type of stuff. And then at the end, he was even, hey, that frozen custard place is already closed down. So he was actually, you know, he probably checked online and said, hey, it's closed. Why aren't you home yet? That, you know, really being possessive. And that's exactly how it came across. So they go out, and then when they come home, Rachael is shot right after Lauren drops her off. So Lauren drops Rachel off and says, hey, go for a walk. I'll pick you up in a minute. It's really weird wording. I don't know why wording was like that. And then Rachel sort of laughed at it and dropped her off. And then she drove away with Tyree. And then Rachel shot a bunch of times in the torso. And then later on, like not very long later, Lauren and Kenneth show back up at the house, and he corrupted the crime scene. You know, he went on into the crime scene, and he was put on administrative leave because his daughter is part of the case. But he obviously was pretty emotional about it too, because he showed up really quickly. Yeah. So that's that part of it. And then it just goes on and on and on, you know. And then later on, this guy is suspended because he's one of the people being investigated for corruption. Then this guy comes in, Percival, and he is arrested because he sent a text message. I actually think that they know that he didn't intend to send. I don't know. Because I came up with the two scenarios. He thought she was 22, he said. So if that's true, he couldn't have done it accidentally. Why would he come up with that first, then go back to it was just a family texting? Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was totally weird. I wonder if I have that text message string somewhere. Let me see if Okay, yeah, I do have that. So I have two versions of it. So I'll put it on the screen right here. All right. So 1041. What's her name? Lauren. Not Lauren. Just a second. Or maybe that is it. Yeah, Lauren, yeah. See, I did have it right. Even my brain had it right, even though I didn't think so. Yeah, so Lauren, she types in, go for a walk, I'll pick you up later. Rachel says, you serious? And then 3 minutes later, Rachel then types back, haha. And then 10:45, be there soon. And then, be there soon. And then 15 minutes later, on my way. Okay, I mean, that's not really on your way. That's not soon. Then 11:07, friend tries to call Rachel. And now prior to this, excuse me, when they were out getting their frozen, I always have a hard time remembering that. I want to say ice cream every time, but it's custard, okay? These are the text messages that Sheldon sent Tyree, his older brother. So Sheldon types in, is y'all there yet? And then Tyree says, yeah. Then Sheldon says, I got left, huh? Ha ha ha, you got all these little smiley faces, which really means he's upset about it, but he wants you to think he's thought it was funny. And then about 4 minutes later, he says, who y'all with? Because now he's getting kind of irritated, like, whoa, I mean, you weren't invited, but how could, are you cheating? What's going on? It just paranoid crap. And then at 10:30, 11 minutes later, he says, Hanks is closed. See, Hanks is the frozen the frozen custard place. So he says, Hanks closed. Well, how does he know that? So that means he literally called Hanks, or he went online to see if Hanks is open because he was trying to track them. He was really being obsessive and possessive, right? So that's why Sheldon always remains on the top of my list. Now, Sheldon knew that Rashawn was dating Rachel. In fact, one time they pulled up together, and Sheldon was there, and he said he would kill Rachel if Rashawn wasn't there, because he was so angry at it. Yes, everyone, please click the like button. Wow, 81 people watching tonight. Not too bad, not too bad. I think Sheldon should be the #1 suspect. They've checked him out twice. I think he's the one that wrote the letter to the prison, or the jail inmate. I don't think Frank has anything to do with it. If he does, I'd be just shocked, because they were done. And he's even engaged to somebody else. Yeah, Stephanie, it was a pretty good weekend. And by the way, I think Chasing Truth and I are going to do a live on my channel tomorrow to go over that first case. Because what happened was, is when she was recording the down at the Boston, the long, what was it called, the long wharf in Boston, recording where the guy might have fallen into the water. Like it skipped time. So when I was recording, I have my voice asking questions, and it's nice and linear because she was on the phone with me, but her live stream cuts out like 30 seconds sometimes, and then it's solid, and then another 20 seconds. So I couldn't sync it up. I even had her clap at the end. Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to have Chasing Truth on, and we're going to go over the missing men of Boston. Yep, the Long Wharf. Right. It's going to be the start. The thing is I think the first case is, for me, is the least likely. Although when you put them all together, it seems like something. But I know that the other cases seem a little bit stranger, in my opinion. Yeah. And then you guys have to go check out Chasing Truth's her video, because she was like an hour and 20 minutes we were on the phone. You just can't hear me talking. She repeats questions, but I wanted to do it where I could put it all together, and then you could hear me talking and we're just having a conversation. But in reality, it just would take like a week to edit it because of all the skipping time. But what we'll do is we'll have the video on, and we'll just discuss what we're looking at and different aspects. It's weird though, Chasing Truth. I wasn't able to actually later on. It just doesn't seem like that's the right wall behind it. It's the only place that looks like that with the rails and everything. But man, I just can't make it work. I've tried a million times. Even those plates that we were discussing, those holes don't actually line up vertically. So something's bugging me about that. So oh, you actually went back there? Did you find any spots that because what you should do is actually film from, I think what you should do is film on the side what you need to do is film from the side of the chart house all along the other side and zoom in. So be on the other side and zoom in. But I mean, I don't think you should spend much more time on this one. It's kind of cool to figure out exact things all the time, but it's just, that's the only place that makes sense, because it has both rails on in front of them and behind them. But then all of a sudden there's like the missing lower part of the wall, and that there's also a vertical seam, a horizontal seam on the entire wall that you can't even see at all on the video that you took. And it definitely isn't on the other side. Hey, what if it's not even the right wharf and we're all just being misled? Yeah, if you do another one and you happen to be near there, go check it out. But what I would do is get on the chart house side and then film across and just walk slowly. And if you can, a lot of times there's ships there, so it blocks your view. But just film and zoom in a little bit. Pretend you're the photographer who took that shot. Yeah, and I have a whole bunch of images that I found Well, we'll do that tomorrow. I don't want to, But I found images that other people took. There's even some drone footage of the same wharf. It's pretty weird, all this stuff that's out there. But we'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, you got to give it to. I mean, it's so cool. Like Chasing Truth was actually, walking around. She didn't even care that there's people going, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah. She even went to a booth because I said, "Hey, you should go ask somebody there about it." She didn't ask about the murder, but she asked about these ramps that they have. But again, we'll do that tomorrow. It was actually kind of fun. That's a cool way to do it because if you have two people, I think it also probably makes maybe she felt like you probably feel a little safer that you're actually talking to somebody instead of just walking around. I would. Yeah, it's good to be wacky. See, like we call everyone on my viewers are freaks, right? That's what we call it. Well, they won't admit it, but who isn't a freak, right? That's why we have the Furious Freaks soundtrack. Yeah, you might not think she killed her, but he killed her. But he's a better suspect than anybody else at this point, because the police actually tracked him, and he wasn't telling the truth on a lot of the stuff. Like he actually was following them near the Circle K and all that that same night. So if he was there to witness it, then he's just. I don't know what are the odds of that? Like he was tracking them down and he just happened to show up when somebody else shot him. That'd be pretty weird. I don't know. Straight laced. Yeah, no way. Right, but a stalker, and he threatened to kill her at another time. I think it's kind of naive to not think he might have something to do with it, to be honest with you. He's a stalker. He threatened to kill her other times. His half-brother's now dating her. He's jealous. Then he goes out. Now he goes out with Lauren and his brother. And he's just really angry. And yes, maybe somebody else did it. Or maybe somebody hired Sheldon to do it. Maybe well, here's the thing. What if Kenneth Watkins actually took in Sheldon Jeter Jr., then found out that Rachel was giving up the goods on private information that he would talk to her about, and then Stephanie found out about that too, and then maybe there was something set up where they took out Rachel to get her to quit telling the truth out there. Who knows, right? But I think one way or another, he's got to be part of something. I don't know if he's the one that pulled the trigger or not. Yeah, I mean, don't you find that weird? So here's what's weird. If you go back and watch this later, is that Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle, who I don't have a picture of, they find Sheldon when he was 17 and Rachel in a car with steamed up windows. They don't write up a incident report. Then 14 months later, they do write one up and state, well, we didn't want if somebody asked that we didn't have it. Right. That just is bizarre. It almost seems like it was written to create some leverage somewhere, doesn't it? Like they then wrote it, so now there's some leverage, because when it didn't exist, anybody could claim anything and there's nothing, right? But now that it exists, it becomes a fact of something that happened. Yeah. It's too bad. I wish she had been writing a journal or something. Maybe she did. Who knows? But maybe she did write a journal and somebody stole it. Or aliens. Yeah, I think somebody found out that they were... Let me get to that part again. That was earlier on. All right, so I'm going to read these two things right here, okay? Aliquippa Police Sergeant Kenneth Watkins and Officer Frank Conkle fined Deltondo with Jeter Jr., 17, at that time, at 1:52 a.m., sitting in a steamed up parked car in the area of the old Aliquippa Hospital. Police allege Deltondo told them the teen was her former student, who was upset and had called her because he needed to talk. Police says she tells them she doesn't want her fiancé Katropa to know where she was because he would get angry. Please file no incident report. They file no incident report and no charges. On April 20 in April and May of the next year, so literally 14 months later, a report is created about the incident, which occurred more than a year earlier. Police Chief Donald Couch later tells the media it was done in case someone got wind of it. So okay, try to figure out what that means. So in case someone got wind, who would get wind of it? So the only people that knew about it would have been Kenneth Watkins, Frank Conkle, Rachel, and Sheldon. That's it. So they created it because if someone got wind of it, they'd say, well, where's the report? All right. Now, on October 26, 2017, 5 months later, an anonymous email containing the incident report and alleging a police cover-up goes out to a number of people, including Deltondo's employer, county and state agencies, media outlets, including the Beaver Countian, and her friends. So whoever this was doing the scorched earth policy. They were going to just literally destroy her life any way they could. The email includes sensitive personal information from state and federal databases. See, this makes me think that this is somebody inside law enforcement. Available only to law enforcement. See, there you go. And strictly forbidden to be released to unauthorized individuals. Now, the police say, oh, it was an accident that they put out that information. See, I don't think it was. Since it's an anonymous source, you can now claim they got it some weird way, right? But the thing is I think it's more likely that it was an internal source who then came and put this out to the media and sent it via an email address that is, unknown, sort of a fake email account. And then on October 27th, a second anonymous email is sent to the Beaver Countian alleging the reason this report was not filed in February 2016, so when that incident in the car happened, and with the Aliquippa District Children and Youth Services, let's see, they wrote this really poorly, so it's hard to read. It says, what it stated in this letter was, the reason this report was not filed in February 2016 with the Aliquippa School District Children and Youth Services and mandated report to the Department of Education was because it was an attempted cover-up. Right. So they're saying that it was an attempted cover-up I get what they're saying. They're just saying the fact that Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle didn't create this report was to cover up the incident. But maybe they just felt like it wasn't really an incident, right? I mean, let's just play devil's advocate. So they find him in the car, and their explanations are good, and they let him go. So why does it need to have a whole report written up about it, I guess? So when they say they're covering it up, perhaps there was more to it. And actually, the mother of Sheldon, she said in November of last year, so isn't this weird? So in November of 6, 2017, Deltondo was placed on administrative suspension with pay from her job pending an investigation. And then during that time, Delcia Crum Flanagan, who is Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s mother, said that she wanted to know the truth about what happened between police, her son, and Rachael Deltondo. So there's something crazy going on. Something is rotten in Denmark. Yeah, we've already explained a little bit about why they would do it a year later. They're just sort of, they got wind that somebody was going to, that somebody knew about it, or they wanted it in the record to use as leverage, okay? Because if it's not in the system, you can't use it against somebody, right? Because it'd be like, what incident? What are you talking about? So then you create the report, you put it in there, and claim, oh, we just didn't want somebody else to stumble upon it. But in reality, you just wanted it in there so that you could then say, hey, look, or try to, pay back somebody. Because to me, they made the report, and then soon after that, there's this, well, it wasn't soon, but like 5 months later, somebody did get a hold of it, and then they sent it out to Rachel's boss, the news outlets, and all of her friends. So it makes you think that somebody inside the police department did this as well. No, I don't know if it's legal or not. Probably not, because I think you're supposed to do the incidents when they happen, I guess. The information they put out definitely wasn't legal, though. They gave out all kinds of private information, her social security number, and everything. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like everybody. I think it's Watkins. Maybe Sheldon had something to do it. Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Lauren here and Sheldon also dated. They've had sex together, okay? So you're looking at Sheldon here. And on this night, see, how about this for an example? Here's another thing for Sheldon to make it seem like Sheldon has something to do with it. So Sheldon is sitting at home and he wasn't invited. Now you've got Rachael, a girl that he has had on and off again sexual relationships with, out with Lauren, a girl he has had sex with. And now Rachel's dating Rashawn, his half-brother, and now Lauren is out with his other brother. So now he's feeling like, oh my God, he's tripping out. Is Lauren now going to start dating Tyree? You see what I'm saying? Again, they should make a damn soap opera about this. To be honest with you, you couldn't even make a show on TV like on IDTV about this case, because the people at the end would smash their faces into the desk trying to watch this thing, because it makes You know, while there's some sense to it, it's totally complicated. You know, where's those face palm emoticons? Okay, put those out. You guys love putting those out. Come on. Yeah, Deltondo is definitely... That's what I mean. Don't you see my drawing here? She's in the center. That's why she's in the center of the whole damn thing. You know? You've got Kenneth Watkins and Frances Conkle. They've had connection with Rachel and Sheldon. See, I even have it down here. If you do a screenshot of this, you can make it all out. The yellow is the steamy car incident. The red is romance, the love interests, family, the green right here. And then the trip to Hank's, the last night she was alive, is the fuchsia. All right, so do a screen print and analyze it for yourself. You might get some good information from that. I don't even know who Justin's talking to. Yeah, nobody knows who did it. But it seems to me like Sheldon is the most likely. And then you've got... But see, it could be just more of a conspiracy with other people, though. So let's say Sheldon, Kenneth Watkins, Lauren, maybe, you know, Stephanie in some way. Maybe they're all involved. Maybe Rachel was trying to take down Kenneth through these investigations that were going on, and Stephanie knew about that because her job, I think, actually would allow her to know something like that. It was kind of weird. I can't remember what her job was right now. No, but you said up above, you said... Oh, I don't know. I can't even find it now. Yeah. Well, no, she's in Justin, she's in a 6-month relationship, serious relationship with Rashawn here, the half-brother of Sheldon, who she had on-again, off-again relationships, and the guy that she was in the car when the windows steamed up while she was engaged with Frank Katropa. So she's not exactly, you know, Miss Virtue, you know what I'm saying? I mean, nobody deserves to be killed like that, but I'm just saying she's not as sympathetic of a character as you'd like, you know? Yeah. So think about that. February 2016, when Sheldon's 17, Watkins and Frances come across a car with the windows steamed up with Sheldon and Rachel in it. She begged the police not to tell Frank because he'd get angry. Then 8 days later, she gave back Frank his ring and then was having an on-again, off-again relationship with Sheldon. Then at some point, she started dating Rashawn, his half-brother, in a serious relationship, but continuing to have sex, apparently, with Sheldon during this time. Then she became friends with Lauren over here, who then is having sexual relations with Sheldon here. Then the night Rachel dies, Rachel is out with Lauren and Tyree, the older full brother of Sheldon. But maybe Sheldon was jealous, thinking that Tyree was now hooking up with Lauren, and Rachel had already been taken by his other brother, so now he's feeling really isolated and left out. Yeah, you don't need to say she didn't deserve to die. You know, that's one of those, oh, everybody kind of knows that, you know. Yeah. Yeah, like 3 of you typed that same sentence in. Yes, yes, everybody knows that. She didn't deserve to die. She's just not like the sympathetic character that you might see in other cases. She's kind of like this person who's been with, seems to not be that concerned with the emotions of other people. Huh. I'm not sure what Anani. They always put that Anon crap on their names, like they have some higher level of like they mean more. But yeah, anybody that puts Anon in their name has nothing to do with anonymous. Okay. Of course, when you go to their channel, you'll have the little face with the British accent. Well, the thing is this is actually reality here. This isn't fake information. Everything that I'm saying is factual on this case. So whether it does sound crazy, right? It sure does. But, yeah, like Watcher Anon doesn't pretend that she's part of Anonymous. Yeah, well, a lot of people put it on there because they want to they have the face too. Well, you've seen them before, right? Yeah, see, at this point, we don't know for sure if Rachael brought this upon herself, because we don't know yet the actual what the killing was. But it's possible that this relationship she had here with Sheldon in the past. Let's say this. What are you talking about? I don't know. I think Justin's confused. I'm not really as confused at all. I kind of know all the facts in this. There are just so many of them and convoluted. Let's see. It could be that. Like, what if that night that Rachael and Sheldon were caught by these 2 officers, they kind of cut a deal. Something like, something about, hey, listen, we're not going to come forward if, who knows what the if was, right? But then later on, the if wasn't being fulfilled by Rachael, so then the police report was created as sort of payback of some sort. Oh, okay, I see. Gets too confusing trying to read. Oh. Yeah, well, I'm trying to... That's the problem when I come back to reading the comments. It's like I'm actually doing the show, looking at the notes and stuff, and then when I come back, I try to read up as far as I can, but I can't see. I was reading the other anonymous comment, the Anani 14107. It's impossible to read everybody's comments, to be honest with you. I guess later on I can read how the conversation went. I just... Yeah, well, so that's the thing is Daro comes up here a lot of times. She does the assistant part, but today I just was doing I was just going to read this and go over the full timeline. See, they've had this timeline on their website, but they wouldn't let you see it. But for some reason today it was there, so I immediately captured it and made sure I could have it and read it. I've actually seen interviews with their friends before on here. Yeah, and I thought it was weird that, you know, Lauren's cell phone and Facebook and all that stuff was looked into, because you kind of wonder, you know, maybe the police were thinking it was a hit. It sounds like a hit no matter what, even if it was a jealous rage. I mean, you know, the guy was waiting there. Yeah, maybe do the @Gray thing. Other than that, I just won't read it. Yeah, there's no serial killer in this case. No, not a chance. I mean, yes, there's always a chance. You know, it's like when people say to me, Gray, is it possible that... And as soon as I hear that, I quit reading. Because everything's possible, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you want to... That's a good... I like that, Audra. Maybe I'll put that in the beginning. And if you'd like to ask me a specific question, feel free to put @GrayHughes in the question. Yeah, but it also isn't a serial killer if you kill... You could kill 6 people in one shooting, and that's not a serial killer. It has to be, you know, 3 or more over time, and usually with some similar. There's like a, you know, something similar about them. I was reading about that. But you can, you know, if you killed 100, you know, like a bomber that blows up 50 people, it's not going to. You're not a serial killer. Unless you did another bombing, and that's what your MO was, like the Unabomber. See, I don't think that, Maris. I used to think that, but I think that Marissa, I think they've sort of clarified that, and she was a, let's see. I actually had that. She was actually an investigative source for the Beaver Countian. She wasn't part of any kind of, you know, undercover investigation for the police. But it might have been that they found out that she was helping out the Beaver Countian. Now watch, at some point they'll be investigated. Yeah, but that's just the witness. I think everyone overblows stuff like that. When you say she was a witness on a corruption investigation, that's because she was the one that Kenneth Watkins and Francis Conkle pulled over. So yes, she's a witness to say, yeah, they pulled us over. They didn't pull us over. They came to the car, and she's a witness. So sure, she, you know. Big deal. I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, ooh, wow, she's like this undercover person that's talking to different people and getting inside information. But that's not the truth. The truth is yes, she was a witness to the corruption because she was her and Sheldon were the ones that the cops didn't file a report on. Right. But yeah, she wasn't actually pulled over. I had to change that up. They were just parked, and the cops came up on them. It'd be kind of hard to drive with your windows fogged over. If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I made the same mistake a minute ago. Well, I think that's all I got for the update. You know, maybe well, it is Sunday. And I think there's no Walking Dead on. So I could come back on later. It'd be kind of cool just to kind of keep this as the Rachael Deltondo discussion. Plus, I did say that me and Chasing Truth will be doing a live tomorrow going over the first incident in the Missing Men of Boston series. Yeah, where's Vic? He's supposed to say. Okay. All right, everybody. So I think I'm going to come back on later. I'm going to probably go get something cold. I was actually in the sun. At least we did play golf early. It was at 6:50 this morning, so I'm tired too. But I tried getting a little nap in earlier. Hopefully that worked. But there's always coffee, you know? There's always coffee. All right, everybody. So I'm going to end this live so people can check this out and see if they can make heads or tail of it. But it does allow you to speculate a little bit more by having this information, all right? So until next time, everybody, be safe out there.